What is the worst mistake your parents ever made in raising you? My parents are still raising me, but I think the expectations are too high. I got a 94 average in English and my mom looked so disappointed in me. I got a 97 in band and my mom asked why I didn't get a 100. The only thing they're actually lenient with me in is gym class, because they know I am, and always will be physically incapable of doing a single, proper push-up. The expectation is so high it's almost crushing, when I feel like I'm not perfect, but I love what I do so much, that I can't just quit and leave it. I'm stuck in this loop of why weren't you good enough? Because no matter how my parents word it, that's always what they meant. Question, not being rude, but why can't you do a push-up? Because I'm the weakest person in my entire grade. I'm okay with actually pushing myself up, but at the going down part 1 just collapse. Used to be same here, not sure if you want to, but if you do wanna be able to do push-ups, do all push-ups throughout the day. Trying to make everything 100% even and fair between my 2 brothers and myself. Everything had to be split 3 ways evenly. This didn't go very well at all, as no matter what, someone felt cheated. It also went the other way, none of us lifted a finger beyond what was 1/3 of the chores. Didn't matter who was sick, or who was away. We all did exactly 1/3, giving anybody any leeway, and we all know it would become a game of how far they could take it. And if one did, the others followed. And this followed us to adulthood. None of us help each other for free. There's always a cost to it up front, since we don't trust each other to make up for it later. So pretty much, between us 3, no one really help anyone. This is really sad, especially because it's so obviously a case of good intention and unintended outcome. Not encouraging me and making me feel weird because of my interests. When I wanted to learn Japanese, my mom asked why. That's so strange. When I started drawing, she called it a useless hobby. When I wanted to learn the piano, my dad would make fun of me every time I practiced at home. I felt so awkward that I started learning by myself. Now, 30 years later, they don't understand why I don't tell them about the things I like. Good for you for doing it on your own. That takes a lot of motivation for a young kid. I had the same. Although they supported and helped me with education, they just didn't understand why I'd like to tinker on anything and constantly berate and belittle me about it. Although my dad used to do the same in his youth and talked with a sense of pride and joy about it. Sheltering me too much. Took a lot for me to come out of my shell, but I'm good now though. I'm watching this happen now with a friend of mine and her son. He's banned from reading all these books, video games, TV shows, computer games. Everything my kids can do, he can't. She just thinks he isn't emotionally mature enough for anything, and the result is, he remains emotionally immature. As our kids grow up, my kids can't relate to him anymore, because his interest literally falls in line with a small child's interests. He is so sheltered from normal kid stuff. She then keeps sheltering him, because he is falling behind emotionally and socially from the other kids and feels like she needs to protect him more. I typed way too much, sorry, it has just been bothering me. Not knocking before entering my room. Putting pressure on me, even though I'm doing the best of my mental ability. Got told by the doctor about my depression. Are you sad? Mom asks as we walk out to leave. When I forcing myself BTW start a conversation but ignore me. Assume I depend on the internet. I have books and drawing ideas to keep me going for days. Music too. And a bike to ride hopefully by myself. Get mad when I can't remember school details because I have awful memory that doesn't stick unless I find it actually interesting. I can't speak up in fear of getting my things taken away. I always have an attitude apparently. Forwarding my anxiety and insult my interests or give me weird looks when I smile at something. Probably not letting me question some of the beliefs I was raised with. My family is religious, and any time I was like wait this doesn't make sense, I was told that it was a sin to even question said religion, or I was told that I needed to ask a person of high ranking within the church. Freedom of thought and expression is important, y'all. It's so important to question and challenge parts of life. I find that most religious people never had the courage to go down their own path of discovery, so they take the safe route and follow. My parents are the same way. Yep. My entire community was the same way as well. I'm grateful that my mom actually left our religion around the same time I did. Not divorcing earlier. I grew up in a household with silent dinner tables, parents who were, from what I can remember, always bitter towards each other, and a father who never paid much attention to me, or at least not until after the divorce, but by then we were too far gone. I tend to think the divorce is what got him to spend time with me, and that, if it just happened earlier, I could been as close to him as I'm my mother. Full disclosure, he was never abusive, and was always physically there. I just can't remember him. Nothing. They almost completely ignored me over my two older brothers. They never encouraged me to do anything, but then again they never told me to not do anything either. I was basically invisible, because I was the quiet one of the family who liked to read books and learn, while the others went out and played football with dad. So, in my 50s, still just a listless, no motivation person that feels like they just kinda coasted through life doing nothing great, but at least not being homeless. Growing up in an Asian household, yelling and hitting, is something I'm more familiar with than love and nurture. Studying hard and doing my best was usually out of fear of being punished if I didn't meet their expectations. I understand that was the way they were raised, but I wish they could have changed a few things when they raised my brother and I. At some point a person's gotta take that initiative to break the cycle of abuse, not perpetuate it. My parents would make fun of me anytime I ordered something plain at a restaurant. I'm a pretty picky eater and ordered things plain and dry a lot when I was younger. It seems small, but knowing I'd be made fun of for whatever I ordered gave me a lot of social anxiety about saying what I wanted. I literally could not physically get myself to order food in public until well into my teens. Never listened to me. I get that there was simply no time and all the other million arguments parents might make in response to this. For a kid like me though, it was a huge mistake. It just made me assume I couldn't trust them, so I stopped respecting anything they said. Was I wrong? Yeah, probably, at least in most situations. But I was a kid, they were the adults. Punishing me instead of letting me be a kid. I never trusted my parents. It felt like I could be punished for anything. So I became sneaky and found ways to do whatever I wanted without them knowing. Now I still don't trust my parents fully. This sounds like one side of the story. Or it sounds like your average parent-teenager relationship. They both worked a lot when I was a kid, about from ages 0 to 12. So they were only around for about an hour before I had to go to bed. They both had high-paying jobs and had saved, so money was not the issue. It made me feel like they enjoyed being at work more than with me, since my mom could have stayed home and not worked if she wanted. I had very nasty grades in secondary school. I was just 11 years old. One evening I sat by the stairs where my mom would pass and cried and told her that I wanted to stop failing at school and that I needed help. She snapped, saying it was my fault, and beat me up terribly. I've not opened up to her ever since. Not allowing me to make mistakes and let them go. I can't complete homework or anything on time because I get too anxious to actually work on it in case I ruin it or don't do as good as I could have. They wouldn't let my mistakes go. So I expected that I was never supposed to make them unless I would get hated for it. When I started primary school, my dad told me that if anyone ever hit me, I should hit them back. In hindsight, he just wanted me to protect myself, but this advice only got me into trouble for getting into fights. He had good intentions, he just needed to stick the landing better. Didn't really have any lasting effect, but I wish my family had been more open-minded regarding everything. My mom was by far the best of the bunch, but my family wasn't exactly accepting of alternate viewpoints about pretty much anything at all. Not touching me, you know, hugs and kisses and things. If I got hurt, I was told to get up. I was never coddled in any way. Some might see that as a good thing. I'm not soft. However, I crave physical touch still. Not letting me do hardly anything with my friends. No sleepovers, birthday parties, unless they were super close family friends. Mostly just begging to sheltered. Now I'm antisocial and don't do anything lol. Not doing enough educational enrichment or helping me develop study skills. I'd probably be in an EE or physics PhD program right now. Then again, things did work out, so just with a lot of bumps along the way. My dad has A. taken away my siblings' birthdays for misbehavior, B. spanked my sister on hers, C. gotten us up on several occasions to yell at us for a solid 2 hours, and he wonders why we are always scared of him. They did not, and still do not, care for my mental health at all. Panic attacks, hissy fits, anxiety, dramatic, suicidal thoughts and actions, attention seeking. My mom is the best mother I could ever ask for, but sometimes I wish she would have put more restrictions on me, because I've never had to hide my use of recreational drugs from her, and I feel like I missed out. They were too young and immature to be parents. Lots of mistakes were made. I turned out okay though, by living a life not the way they did. Let me guess, they partied too much? Not letting me communicate with them. My mother doesn't allow that anymore. It has been years, and I'm not even sure if she is still alive. I'd call that bad parenting. Not listening to me when I once told them a girl was mean to me in 3rd grade. Thought I have to stand it all alone. Got bullied from grade 3 to grade 10, and still in therapy. They won't let me change my legal name to Lieutenant Commander Geordie LaForge. Scarred me for life. As a child, did you wear a hairband over your eyes? My dad's fatal mistake was dying. My mother was a horrible mess, and after years of substance abuse she subsequently died as well. I'm still not fixed. My mom sheltered me and is completely against me having a driver's license, despite me having proven time and time again that I'm a good driver. Not keeping an eye on what I eat. Took me many years to realize that if I want to be healthy I can't just eat sweets all day long. Not giving me respect and not listening to my feelings. Children are human, even if not as articulate sometimes. Told me about all their money problems, which made me feel incredibly guilty whenever I have to buy anything, even essentials. They were always patient with me, listened to me, and never raised their voices. My first job was a learning experience. Giving me a shot of Genever weenie was 12, the only good thing is that I probably won't ever drink Genever again. Dad not stopping, being a raging alcoholic, and mother not pulling her and the kids from the situation. Not taking me seriously. This one factor applies to so many incidents over the years. One abusing me, the other accuse me of encouraging it, and even react jealous to it. Spending years responding to all my mental health problems with "how could you do this to your mother?" Believing narcissistic relatives over me. It is still happening to this very day. Permanently letting me feel that my grandmother is more important than I am. They weren't always honest and told a lot of white lies which hurt in the long run. Not teaching me social skills didn't make my first friend till 6th grade. Being verbally abusive and letting my brother psychically abuse me. At least I will know how to raise my future children. You want a cupcake, another scoop of food, etc. Not getting an abortion when I was a fetus. Loving me in their own way that I can't undo. Stripping me of self-confidence